Welcome everybody to Village Wisdom Coaching. What we're doing today is we're having a goal getter series, and it's an interview. And our interview today is going to be with Diana Maye. Diana Maye is a performance artist and a highly attuned, empathetic healer whose work inspires awakening and deep healing on all levels through the power of inspiration and love. She re- she received a bachelor's of fine arts degree in uh, visual art from Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers University in 2012 and began her healing practice in 2014. In her art, Diana uses visual media and music together on film, in churches, and in galleries to hold a space for deep healing for all present as she offers a transmission of presence. Her innate intuitive abilities of seeing, feeling, and direct knowing enable Diana to feel deeply into individuals as well as the collective to to help them open their hearts, allowing healing at the deepest levels, both in her performance and during her healing sessions. Diana brings forth deep awakening through both art and word, which results in healing of the body, mind, and spirit. And Diana, welcome and thank you for joining us here.
Well, thank you so much. This is very exciting.
Yes, did I cover that okay?
Yes, you did. I didn't realize how much I had written.
Oh,
Like,
you're not supposed to say that. I got that off of Wikipedia.
very
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good. Thank you.
so tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, Diana.
Well, I'm an artist and a spiritualist, and I live it every second. And I am a painter primarily, as far as my art goes, and I combine my visual work with music within large space settings when I'm performing, and the point of that is to hold a space for people to open their hearts. And over the years, I've found it incredibly effective. And we're talking about goals, and my the goal that I've achieved is that I'm doing this full time now, which is it's a life dream, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And I can on an individual level. So and my sessions, they're not big art and music celebrations. It really is just me and another person. I also do group healing, so it's me holding a session and people coming together and doing this deep healing work together. Um, and it's very transformative, and I live for it. I love it. It's the only thing I'm ever interested in doing in life. It's I truly love what I do, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to do it, and that there's a space for it to be done.
Great. And as you mentioned that you had a goal, and your goal was to make that, I guess, your full-time living, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, great. And you have accomplished that. Um, so, why was it that you wanted to make that your full-time job?
Well, I through my life, when I first got to college, I had planned on being an art teacher, and that was always my plan as a young person. Um, and I got to school and found out that I couldn't actually get that degree in art education at the school that I went to, and
They
and you'd
did.
think
They
I
didn't
would
tell
do
you
that.
ahead of time.
Well, what's funny is my father was a professor at Rutgers for 50 years, and I had always planned on going there. And and because the art school is very good there, and I knew I wanted to study art. Um, I just kind of showed up at Rutgers and said, "Here I am," and I was accepted. I submitted a portfolio and everything, and they accepted me. And I got there and found out that, maybe I should have asked more questions. But as it turns out, I'm so thrilled that I didn't ask those questions, because now I'm actually doing what I was meant to do. And it happened very much on purpose and also very much by accident.
Yeah, kind of
And
a kind
and
of
it
a way
was,
life took you there.
yeah, exactly. It was the direction I wanted to go, eventually. But I didn't realize that that's what my innermost self was taking me to do. I didn't realize that that was the path that I was on. My plan was to live a comfortable life, being an art teacher and making my own art every once in a while. And on the weekends, I would go make my music, and I'd have a family, raise a couple kids, have a dog, and that was my plan. And I thought, well, that's really nice. That sounds very pleasant. How could I ever be unhappy with that? And then when I got to school, my my professors really blew my mind up with art making. I mean, I didn't realize how deep you could get with the conceptual elements of art making, and it was something I always believed in, something I always felt. Um, I myself studied Renaissance painting most evenings by myself. When I was in high school, I would just copy masterworks, paint all night. Into like 4 o'clock in the morning on a school night, I'd be up in my room painting. And so I always knew, I always believed in the spirituality of, and I knew the depth of art, but I didn't realize how much of a vehicle art could be for sharing ideas. And when I got to art school, my professors, were talking about all this conceptual art, and I was looking at all this contemporary art, and I didn't know anything about it, and it really freaked me out. But then it totally thrilled me. And as I got further into making my own art, which was a painful process, I had to let go so much of what I knew about art and what I had committed to. I figured, the rest of the world doesn't appreciate, you know, the the level of technique and precision it takes to make these really masterfully done paintings, like, Rembrandt and, Van Ryn, and like all these wonderful, Dutch masters, and, all those guys, like the amazing, really realized paintings. And I got to school and I realized that I didn't know anything. I
Right.
didn't know anything. And all my techniques, yeah, they were wonderful. And, I was ahead, in a technical way in so many ways, but, conceptually, I hadn't developed. And it was through years of everything that I thought that I was as an artist to discover what was actually there. And that's when I discovered that I'm a healer. I'm not a painter. I'm not a singer. I mean, I do both those things, but what I really am is a healer.
Hmm.
And my soul uses these skills that I was born with and that I've spent years honing to help others to know what their gifts are and who they are.
Hmm.
And I use my gifts to help people wake up. And so, and now that's what I do all the time. I
Okay.
love it.
Well, it's a little sidetracked, but let me just ask you a little bit about that. So, how do you use the art and the music in your healing practice?
In my healing practice, I mostly use my art and my music for myself to
Okay.
process information. In my actual healing sessions with people, I'm not really using art and music.
Okay. Yeah,
No, those are
I thought
that's
it.
for that's for my bigger performances, if you call
Okay.
them
All
performances.
right, great. Yeah, so I was a little A little confused there. Okay, so what skills or resources did you have that you used to achieve your goal?
Probably the biggest influence, the biggest resource I've used is my life coach that I work with. Um, Her name is Mindy Amita, and I love her dearly. And she was the one who really helped me take the action steps I needed to take in order to be able to do this full time.
Right, great. And did so I'm a coach myself. Did Mindy do a like a list of resources with you as far as what your skills are and all that, and where you would actually need some improvement and stuff to actually go about and make this a living?
No, we didn't really do something like that so specifically.
Hmm.
Um, we didn't talk about areas I need improvement on or anything. She works in a very organic way, which really complements the way that I am, which is part of why I've used her so much. Um, and she offers a lot of resources for me to, if there's something, she will point me in a couple of directions. She'll often send me links, or she herself will tell me action steps. Do this, and then this. Um, and yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. And you faithfully went ahead and went through every step that she gave you, right?
Mostly, I found when I first started working with her, we would uncover so many, you know, actions. Like my lists, I even have like these graphs of things that I could do,
Hmm.
and that I drew out based on things that she said. And they were so extensive, I wouldn't even necessarily have time to take care of them all before my next session, but I still have them. So there are things that I can't necessarily just go do in a linear way. Sometimes they are, um, and but they're all things that as the grid fills in, um, I tick the things off the list, if that makes sense.
Sure, it does. So, along the way, you probably ran into a couple of roadblocks, obstacles, maybe challenges, whatever term you like to use for them. Um, do you know, can you pick out any of them and share them with us?
Um, yeah, absolutely. Roadblocks for me, I mean, some physical roadblocks have been, I have dyslexia, and I tend to, it takes me a long time to um, kind of connect to um, going about things in a very linear 3D, cut and dry fashion. Um, it's something that I very much admire in people who are, mathematical and technical and very logical.
Hmm.
And, my logic comes to me in a very artistic way, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, that has been the most difficult thing. Just learning how to use Skype took me a while. Took me a really long time. And, going and opening a PO box down at the post office, that took me a while. you know,
Right.
so that just the left brain stuff takes me longer to figure out how to do. Mindy has been a wonderful help, um, when it comes to that. She always makes me feel like that I can do it. It's okay if it takes a couple of steps.
Hmm.
It's okay, and just keep working at it, and you'll get there. So those have been some roadblocks. Other roadblocks, as far as me doing this work full time, have just been emotional things that come up, for people who want to go after their dreams instead of go live a safe, comfortable, quiet life. And the
It's not necessarily safe.
well, no, yes, no, but people think it is. They
Y-
think it is.
Yes,
Um,
I fell victim to that myself.
while, and it spat me out every time. I would either get laid off of a job, or I would end up working somewhere that was so miserable I'd have to bully myself into showing up to work every day. And I knew that that wasn't going to be sustainable. And so when things kept falling apart that way, I realized that I'm really only getting these jobs to avoid doing what I want to do full time and what I know I need to do in order to, live a fulfilling life. And so that was a roadblock for sure. And it was only when I started working with my coach regularly that I realized that the pain of staying in that other lifestyle was far greater than the fear of diving off into the unknown and pursuing my dreams full time.
Right.
So so here we are.
Right. And that, I've run into similar. I was recently laid off after 20 years at the company I was working with,
Wow.
and yes, it's not safe. You can't rely on it. So good. So was there ever a point you wanted to give up on it?
I wouldn't say give up on it, especially since I decided to do it full time and commit all of my working hours toward it. Not one time have I wanted to give up on it or felt like I should.
Well, what kept you going? What kept you determined
Started
not?
my healing practice a couple of years ago. Sorry, what was that?
I said, so what kept you going? What kept the fire burning, the determination?
Um, I think that the determination, I can see so clearly what I want to create, and I can see so clearly who I would be and where my life would be in that picture. And not not following the path it would take to embody that just became so painful that I decided to make every single decision every single day in alignment with what my goals are. And I committed full time. And my circle of friends changed. Um, Everything about my life changed. Where I live changed. Everything changed. Um, my relationships with lots of people have really shifted, um, all to anchor something much healthier
Well,
and something that I really believe in and something that I know that I am.
well, you kind of segued me into my next question for you is one of the things that I believe, and one of the reasons I named my company Village Wisdom Coaching, is because nobody actually achieves a goal on their own. There's always somebody that helps them in one form or another. And so my question to you was who helped you achieve your goal?
First person, number one person, my chiropractor.
Really?
Hell yeah, that man is my hero. Yeah, Dr. Wayne Rebarber up in Highland Park, New Jersey. Uh, that man, uh, he really he saved me. I mean, he was the one, and this was a long time ago. He was the one who I I felt resonance with when I didn't even know where I was anymore. This is when I was in college, and he also is a spiritualist. He is the most incredible doctor I have ever known. Anything, and he was also the first doctor um, that I had really ever trusted as someone who's very deeply intuitive. He's the first one I felt like I had ever trusted in my life, really.
All right. Well, great. Um, Anyone else that helped you out with that? I guess you did mention your coach, which
Yes, my
I highly believe that everybody should get a coach if they're
oh
looking
yeah.
to achieve
Oh
something.
yeah. Everybody should get a coach. Absolutely. I had wished that I had done coaching years ago. Um, everybody should. So absolutely, my chiropractor, my coach, my therapist that I saw for a while really helped me heal some pretty deep stuff. And who else? Yeah, I have some close friends that have been with me through the entire change. And there are a lot of friends that were with me for a while and then we left each other for whatever reasons. Just grew apart. Differences in perspectives and differences in beliefs. Um, so I do have a handful of very close dear friends that have been by my side for a long time. Um, and my parents have been very supportive, especially financially. I've had a lot of financial ups and downs. Um, and they've really been a big support. And where I currently have a job as a singer in a church in Philadelphia, and this place has been a huge platform for just about all of my work, and also been a big security and a very warm community. And I have two cats that are awesome, and I appreciate them too.
Yeah, of course, the cats help. All
Yep.
right, all right. Well, thank you, Diana, for joining us on this interview. If you would, just go ahead and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if they'd like to look into more of what you do.
Oh, sure. You can visit my website. It's dianamaye.com, DIANAMAYE. And there's an email address there. You can contact me directly, email me anytime, dianamaye.info@gmail.com. And yeah, that's the best place to find me. There are links to information on healing sessions. There, some of my art is up there. Some of my paintings. I also have a line of healing jewelry that I make out of very fine materials. So you can check everything out there. And there it is.
All right. And again, Diana, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.